Hi, I just wanted to go over a few of the things that we went over at the parent meeting today. I will do it quickly, so I might skip over some things. If you still have questions, please feel free to reach out. Um, the teaching philosophy that we're using during the classes, especially for the younger students, pre-K, kindergarten, and all the beginner classes, is the Suzuki method, where we learn music like a language. So we're teaching them to play and be involved and enjoy the music with the instrument, be physically capable of playing the instrument before we teach them to read the music. So do not be alarmed if they have no idea how to read music yet. This is actually something that is very, very easy to teach once they love music and once they're playing it. Um, so uh, one of the aspects of the Suzuki method involves parent support, and what you can do at home is you can play lots of classical music and make sure that your environment is filled with music, because listening to the music that you're playing is key to develop the ear. If you would like to add on a private lesson, it is better to have private lessons in addition to the group classes. However, in order to progress in our program, we have found that even students who do not take private lessons, they are progressing. And even though it might be a slower progress, it is still motivating and worthwhile if your child is not interested in private lessons yet. So just go at the commitment level that your child is ready for now and one that you're ready for. And the classes will support them in that. I wrote that reviewing pieces is essential to building technique. And I write that because in our classes, we always review the easier literature to build more complex technique on the instrument. You wouldn't want to build technique with new pieces, because at that moment their brain is very much concerned just with learning the notes. And it's on the older pieces that we're thinking about better sound, adding, shifting into the easier pieces, playing with, better pitch. That's when we can really listen for the details. So if you wonder why we keep repeating the same pieces over and over, it's because that's part of the method, and that's why the kids are so successful. They're hearing the older kids play this. They're ready to play it when it's their turn. And if we keep changing the repertoire every year, then this benefit is lost. This is a little bit about our teachers. I think a lot of you know me, but you can read a little bit about me. I have a doctorate degree in violin performance, over 20 years teaching experience. I also have a master's degree in science, and I have two kids at the school, Jacqueline in 5th grade and Spencer in 3rd grade. Pedram, he has been instrumental in helping me build this program. He has a master's degree in violin performance, over 20 years of teaching experience as well, and we work together super well. We have the same philosophy, and anyone who comes in with us as another teacher, we select carefully and we train them to deliver the same high standard of teaching with a similar positive philosophy of learning an instrument. We have many different teachers working at the same time to support the students, and the reason why we need so many teachers is because playing a string instrument is hard. So I like to have the flexibility to offer different rooms. So let's say that some students need one skill. We might put all those students in that same room with one teacher for that class period. That doesn't mean that that's who they will be with every single time. We switch up the teachers, we switch up the students that they're with, just based on how we feel the dynamic is going to work best for that day. So a lot of times we might be offering all the different levels in the same room, with every teacher offering support in that same room, because we are trying to put lots of parts together and we need leaders on each part, and we need support even as we're playing as a large group. Other times we're separating to different rooms, and we're targeting the learning to whatever that group needs at that time. So some days in the same semester, students might be exposed to being the leader of a group, and sometimes they might have a challenge, right? They might be placed, into a group where they don't really know the piece that they're playing, and this is completely new for them. And they're looking to the other students to see what to do. So we're really emphasizing, though, and praising the quality of the playing rather than how many, new pieces they've learned, because certain students can learn many pieces at a very low level, and we're not really encouraging that type of learning, although there is a place for that. If that's what's motivating to your child, let them do that. But we're really emphasizing, wow, the sound is, much better than last year when we were playing the same piece. And we're emphasizing what they should be listening for when they're playing pieces at home, not just learning the notes for the new pieces. So it's just as important for students to continue improving their technique on the pieces they already know as it is to learn new repertoire. And we try to achieve that balance. And sometimes your child may feel like, oh, I'm really wanting a new piece, and maybe, we're still trying to perfect the songs for the concert. Just hang in there, because we will get to that new piece. And, you can still have a lot of benefit reviewing the other repertoire and putting everything that you now know from the new pieces into the older repertoire that you learned before. So the technique actually is improved on the review pieces, not on the new pieces. And it's something that we have to continually remind ourselves, both parents and the children, because we always do want that new piece. It's fun to learn a new piece, but that's actually not where our good technique is coming from. Our performances, here's a list of our performances. We will continue to have the similar schedule, and I will email about the specific dates as we get them for the next year performances. What is new? So we have a change of day for our classes. I have changed the advanced groups to Thursday. The reason why I did this is because there are lots of holidays on Mondays, and those advanced groups are performing, and we need more practice time. So the Thursday afternoon groups will be mostly our advanced groups, although we will have our pre-K and kindergarten violins and cellists coming on Thursday at 3 o'clock. But starting at 3:30, we will have our new advanced orchestra. We will have our advanced chamber students that are working, at a late book 1, book 2, book 3 Suzuki level. And again, we're subdividing those into smaller groups usually to work on their specific needs. Our intermediate group, students that are just learning Twinkle up through Allegro, so like the first maybe 8 pieces that you hear on, like the last 8 pieces that you hear on our concerts, all the way down to the Twinkles. Those groups will meet on Monday at 3:30. When they're ready to move to Thursdays, we will let you know, and we can make the switch mid-semester. Any switches can be made mid-semester, except for our most advanced orchestra group. We will do that on the semester intervals. So if you don't audition for the most advanced orchestra in August, you will have another opportunity to do that in December, starting so that when you come back in January, you can make that switch. And that's just because in the orchestra, it's not going to be, we are going to be learning new repertoire every single semester. So you don't want to come in while everyone's in the middle of perfecting one of the pieces. You want to come in at the beginning. And we'll just have, a few pieces that we're working on each semester, in addition to the Suzuki pieces and the other repertoire that we will also play at the concerts with the younger students. Those advanced students are always playing with the younger students and developing their skills, keeping those in their memory. It's very, very good to have more and more repertoire that you're remembering each year. And while it might seem a little difficult at first, this really develops the musicianship of our students. One of the things that we are changing is the cellos will be combined with the violins. We will still hire cello teachers that will help support the cellos, but I think that the cellists are going to benefit from having this kind of more like this big, larger group experience, and they will hear the violinists play. It's a little bit more difficult to start with the bow on the cello, but I think hearing the violins do it, they will just catch right on, and they will be able to progress even more quickly. So these are the changes for what's coming up in the fall. This is all about the advanced orchestra. If you are playing Humoresque or Witches Dance or even chorus from Judas Maccabeus, but with really beautiful tone, audition for this advanced orchestra. The advanced orchestra is more about the commitment rather than the level, because we're all at a very similar level right now. There's not a huge difference between Suzuki Book 2 and Suzuki Book 3, or even Suzuki Late Book 1. It's all around the same level. But we will be moving at a fast pace, so these are dedicated musicians that are willing to practice at home if needed, and they're willing to take private lessons if they're not able to catch on to the parts as quickly as they need to. This is going to be taught by me as well as Pedram, and we do rotate the teachers regularly because some students might really enjoy my teaching. Some students might really enjoy Pedram's teaching. Hopefully they enjoy both of our teaching. However, we have different things to say. So it's actually beneficial for us both to give our feedback and work with each group. This is the schedule. So we have our advanced orchestra Thursday at 3:30. We are going to also have our advanced Suzuki group Thursday at 3:30. And this is if you're not super committed to keeping up with the orchestra and you just kind of want to, do the pieces by memory, and you want to continue playing with the group, but maybe you don't have that extra commitment for that orchestra. That's also Thursday at 3:30. A change that we are going to have is the intermediate group, the Twinkles through Allegro, is going to be Monday at 3:30. And I put not yet ready for a full hour of intense rehearsal. That could be true. They might not be ready for a full hour, so that group will end a little bit early. So instead of going for a full hour, we're going to do 3:30 to 4:15. I think this will be perfect for that level. Right now, we have students that maybe an hour is a little bit physically too much for them. And so then when the hour becomes more doable for them, and once they have passed those early pieces, that's when they're going to make the shift into the Thursday 3:30 group. Suzuki Strings is our more beginning group. We will have Thursday 3 o'clock pre-K and kindergarten violins and cellos. I would say that for these youngest students, it is strongly recommended to start on violin for one semester before switching to cello. It's a little bit easier and a little bit physically less demanding to play the violin than it is to play the cello. So once they've felt how the violin goes and they understand how string instruments work, switching to the cello is much easier, and they will pick it up more quickly. Does that mean that they have to start with the violin? No, they don't. If they're very committed and they're just like they are set on the cello, totally fine. They can start right on the cello. Monday, 3 o'clock, we're going to have our 1st through 6th grade beginning violin and cello students. And the new change, as I said before, is that we're holding both violin and cello classes at the same time and in the same room. We might not do that every single week, but at least every other week we're going to have a chance to be together. We will still have our cello teachers to support the cellists, and all of our teachers can support cello just in the same way that we do violin, even if it's not our main instrument. Who should join the string program? This is really a program for all levels, all ages, whoever would like to. It's for the beginners who have never played. We will teach the foundation. We will set them up, physically as the best that we can, so that it's very, very easy for them to play and progress right away. This is also for the most serious students, taking private lessons, joining an outside orchestra. Even if you plan to join, Colburn Orchestra, you should still join this chamber ensemble at Sierra Canyon, because this group is more about building community at Sierra Canyon and belonging to something special at the school. It's going to feel very different for your child to play with their school classmates than it is to go outside the school and play with musicians around the city. They're going to have a special connection to performing with their school peers. And I know this because I've been teaching privately for a very long time, and those students that even if they're more advanced than what their school is offering, those students still benefit from joining their school program, and those are the ones that continue all the way to college. They feel proud to represent their music program at the school, and you'll see that this will have a positive effect on the way they feel about everything at the school, including academics, including sports. So I strongly feel that this is important. At all levels, you should join the chamber ensemble to be a part of your school community and the music that we have here. We are willing to grow with the students as they advance. Right now, we are adding this orchestra program because we have a need for it. And I think we probably have around 10 students, 10 to 15 students that would be ready for this program if they're ready to commit to it. And we will continually plan our approach based on the students participating and adjust as necessary. So, the students that are going to 7th grade, they can still come and join this group, just as the students from 7th grade did last year. Students from 7th grade that are going into 8th grade, they can still come and join this advanced orchestra, and I really hope that we can continue year by year until we are including, pre-K through 12th grade students in this group. And that is going to be amazing. The result of that will be not only amazing to listen to, but just an amazing group to be a part of. So I want to work together as a team with you as parents, with the kids. All ages and levels, of course, are welcome. We have mixed age groups which I think work very, very well. The older students are amazing with the younger students, and helping them to progress. And we have students that just started in January maybe, and they're hearing all the students play these pieces, and they're going home and learning them because of just listening and being exposed to all of the more advanced playing. So it's important that we remember that when our children become more advanced and, they're the leader of the group, that this is actually very important for them to be a role model for the younger ones. It's just as important, and they derive just as much benefit from the younger students being included as they do being the youngest student. So we are continually pushing them to get better technique and more skills as they revisit the earlier pieces. We're adding shifting, we're adding vibrato. They have a better sound. They have more advanced bow technique. And if your student is not able to incorporate these things yet, and they're just worried about learning more and more songs, that's okay. They will come, and because they see their peers doing this, they will see the value in it when they are ready for it. Right now we're playing up to Suzuki Book 3 level pieces. In year 1, we were only playing early Book 1 level pieces. So we are growing together as a group. We don't have to grow at the same pace. We have flexible classes where students can move around. And we will play a range of repertoire to keep them interested. Some students might like, the Suzuki pieces best, and some might want to play the popular music or the fiddle pieces, or, some students will really find the orchestral pieces interesting. So each year we're rotating the pieces. We're keeping the favorites from previous years. We're adding some new pieces, but we're keeping a lot of those old pieces because, again, that's how we build the technique. So this group is an amazing community of peers and friends who can learn to play together and create an amazing work of art in the end. And that is really what we are doing. We are building a community. And parents are an integral part of this community. So feel free, come watch the classes, ask for help when you need it. If your child is losing interest for whatever reason, please come tell me, because there are things that we can do about that. But also know that the passion of the instrument is going to ebb and flow as they continue over a long period of time. And just as long as they're enjoying coming to the class, keep sending them. If they're not willing to take their instrument one time at home, that's okay. You will still see the benefit for them just being a part of it and coming to class, and they will learn it. We are pretty efficient at teaching them the pieces, and even if they just come that one time per week, they are still going to progress on their instrument, and it is beneficial for them. Thank you to all of the parents for helping with decorating for the concert. That the decorations on that Monday concert were just so beautiful. Thank you to the parents who helped with the refreshments. I love that we're building a community of parents where we're encouraging not only our own child, but we're also encouraging other children and families. So, if another family is struggling, like, we're helping them through that struggle and, telling them to hang in there. And, if you have playmates or whatever and they are interested in joining, then you all are role models for the other families, and you're motivating for them. So thank you. Stages of learning a piece. I put this in here because sometimes we think, okay, even in academics, as parents, and I'm guilty of this too sometimes, we forget that it's very, very beneficial to come back and kind of go through this circle, this circular stage of learning, which starts with learning the new material. So for a musical piece, it would be learning the notes of the piece. And you don't know the piece before you started. You're just learning the notes. You're trying to get it in your ear. You're trying to figure out what this piece is supposed to sound like. You're trying to focus on making a good sound, getting the pitch in tune, and you're trying to fluidly play the piece with the music. Eventually, you've got this in your ear, you memorize the piece, you're able to play the piece with the group, you're able to blend with the group. Sometimes playing the piece with the group is the hard part. You can play it by yourself, but When you're in the group, maybe your timing is a little off, or maybe your pitch is a little off. You're not really sure how to blend. So your children are actually doing a lot of things at one time when they're learning a new piece. In order to play the piece with a group and know the piece to play themselves, those are a lot of skills needed to get to that point. Once they can play with the group, then they're refining this piece continually. They're making it blend a little bit more. Their pitch is a little bit better. Their tone is a little bit better. And it's continually refining the piece that builds the technique. Because if you can play Twinkle Twinkle sounding like Itzhak Perlman, you can play more advanced things sounding like him too. So it's that quality that we're really after. Once they have refined the piece, they've memorized it, then we're performing the piece, and that piece of the puzzle is very important. They need to perform these pieces multiple times. It's not just performing it one time, but it's performing it, 10 times, 20 times. You'll see what I mean. At the 20th time they've performed Twinkle, they're going to be so comfortable with it. We're going to be able to add, lots of things into Twinkle Twinkle that, we're not quite there yet, but we're moving in that direction. Once we perform the piece, then, you move on to the next piece. Yes. But the most important part of this circle is to come back and refine and perform previous pieces and repeat the cycle. So each time you've performed this piece, you're improving every aspect of your playing. Resources. Summer lessons. Mr. Porgazzi is offering some summer lessons at school. I am offering summer lessons at my home in Woodland Hills. If you're interested in either of those options, you can contact either of us. The rental and purchase of instruments, I will be collecting any instruments that need to be returned by Monday. If your instrument is not here by Monday for Charles to pick up, you'll have to return it to Sherman Oaks at his shop. So please, if you do need to return your instrument, do it by Monday. But I'm hoping that most of you are keeping your instrument, because even if you are just taking the summer off and you're not taking any summer lessons, which is totally fine, you will be totally fine to take the summer off, come back in the fall if that's what you choose to do. Obviously, summer lessons will get your child learning more and ready to move up in their group for the fall. But if you don't want summer lessons, that is totally fine. You'll come back to the fall and keep your instrument that you have now. We will check the sizing at the last class, and we will give out pins at the last class. The rental will just continue on a monthly basis. They will charge you every 3 months, I believe, for the rental. And if you would like to, you have been accruing rental credit. So if you would like to purchase your instrument, you can call the shop and ask them how much you need to pay to purchase the instrument outright. And then at that point, when you have purchased the instrument, it's yours. And you will be able to trade that instrument for the next size for just $99. Which is a very, very good price, and that will kind of allow you to utilize your credit that you have been accruing in the rentals. If you have more questions about this, you can call the shop and ask them more detailed questions. If you want to find a private teacher near where you live who is qualified, please let me know. I will make sure that you find somebody that is qualified to give you the best instruction possible. And then just a reminder, follow your child's lead on their commitment level. I wouldn't force practice at home, but instead, try to motivate them to want to get out their violin by asking to hear a performance of what they know, or maybe, teaching you how to play. Show an interest. That's what we want. We want positive interest. We don't want the violin or the cello to turn into some negative chore that you're saying, oh, you have to do this if you're going to continue. I wouldn't approach it that way. I would approach it in a very positive way. Try to leave the instrument out at home so that all they have to do is walk by and pick it up and play a few notes. And even if your child does not want to play it all at home for you yet, it's okay. It will happen. Just stay patient, and just know that it's still beneficial for your child to play at school, even when they don't take their instrument out at home. I do send practice videos. That's another way to motivate them. You can kind of watch my practice videos, and just seeing me playing it will motivate them to want to practice. So do click on those links and start watching them at home. Even if you just watch the practice video and are listening to the piece, it's still helpful, even if they don't take the instrument out at all. Okay, I think that's all that we talked about. Please do not ever hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help you. I've been teaching a long time, so usually if you have an issue or are having something happening at home, it's not the first time I've heard it, so don't worry. Please come talk to me. I will help you. I will help you through this process. Have a great summer.